All right, Shalom. Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakadash. All praises to who the world calls God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem meaning in the name, Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. I also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, preachers word of truth and sincerity. And the brother Tazbah out here in Arizona, the Lord will with another week to prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great, which is America. Shalom, brother. Which is America, man. You know, this place is set up to be destroyed. Hey, shalom, bro. Hey, y'all about to make sure about the down. Shalom, brother. Hold it down, bro. But America is being set up to be destroyed, and Esau is coming out of power. Right? We're at the beginning of his decline. Right? This full-out decline is happening right before our eyes, and this is why you see everybody criticizing his actions, criticizing his allegiance, and what he allows to happen. Right? This is prophecy, and it's beautiful to see because through so-called white men being in power, the world's been destroyed. Right? You have things that cause cancer that's just normal to be in food now in America, but you go outside of America and they don't allow these things to be produced and be put in people's foods. This place is set up to be destroyed. Right? The land of the free, the home of the brave. America itself is going to be wiped off the face of the earth, and thus said the Bible. Right? And you can go into prophecy, scriptures. The Lord said his eyes are upon the sinful kingdom to destroy it from off the face of the earth. Right? Let's start off with some scriptures, man. All right, this is Jeremiah, Isaiah 42. Isaiah 42 and verse 9, it says, "Behold, the former things are come to pass." Right? What are the former things? The things were prophesied that's already happened. Right? Talking about the destruction of Jerusalem, the destruction of Israel, right? The desolation, right? That Jake went through, the multiple captivities through the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Medo-Persians, right? The Greeks. All those things have come to pass. So it says, "Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them." Right? So before these things happen, before they come in their full fruition, the Lord set up prophets. Right? Let's get that. Reveal. This is Amos 3 and 7. It says, "Surely Yahweh power." Yahweh, which is the name of the true name in the Paleo Hebrew, or who the world ignorant calls God. Right? It says, "Surely Yahweh power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets." So the Lord always revealed the secrets, which is the understanding, unto his servants, the prophets. This is why when Yahushua was on the scene, he said, what? To you it was given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it wasn't given. But the Lord spake in what? Parables and dark sayings, that these people want to get it. But now we're in a time now when the scriptures say, at the end, the book shall be opened, right? While all these things are being revealed, now you're seeing the prophecies come to pass. Though it tarry, wait for it, it shall surely come to pass. It will not tarry. Now you're seeing the Lord pull out his judgment. Now people are asking questions about the Bible. It's gotten so intense that now you got Netanyahu, right? A nation full of fucking atheists that go against the scriptures, trying to pull out Bible scriptures to defend their case. Why? Because we're in a time now where these things are starting to hit. And there's going to be an account that has to be had for these things. Right? This is going back. Isaiah 42 and 9, it says, "Behold, the former things are come to pass, And new things do I declare before they spring forth, I tell you of them. So what's the new thing that's going to come to pass, that's going to spring forth, that the Lord's putting men on the earth today to let you know before these things happen? World War III, drafts, right? Famine, pestilence. These are things that's going to be in your lifetime, right? You're not going to be able to go down to the store and get something to eat, go to a restaurant, 7-Eleven, and get something to drink, right? The mark of the beast, RFID microchip, right? That whole technology, the system that goes into that, CBDCs, all those are things that have not come to pass yet. But before they came, the Lord set up men in these last days to tell you that these things are coming to pass. That you're going to live this reality, right? The reality of the scriptures that people try to negate, these are things that are going to happen right now in your lifetime. And it's about to get freaky out here, man. It's about to get scary, right? This is Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51 and I'll start at 6. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul and be cut off and be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense, right? And the first steps to getting out of this place, right, is you getting back to the Lord. That's going to be the first step, because the Lord's going to have to take us out of here, right? It's written, it shall no longer be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of the north. What is that land of the north that the scriptures is speaking about? It's talking about North America, because this is that new Egypt. Revelation, it tells you there's a place which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, and that's America, right? America is that new spiritual Sodom and Egypt. This is why you have Egyptian architecture here, the fucking obelisk at the Washington Monument, right? Sodom, because of the sexual immorality that's here. This place follows in all that type of pride, and the Lord's going to have a recompense for those things, man. So this is the time we're in. You got to make sure that you understand these things, all right? It says, verse 7, it says, Jeremiah 51 and 7. It says, Babylon, right, has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, right? And the scriptures tell you they're drunken but not with wine. They stagger but not with strong drink. So what is the drunkenness that Babylon, right? Which this is all code words in the scriptures. What is the drunkenness that Babylon, America, has pushed out to all the other nations? Right? Their philosophies, the way they do laws, the way they do business, right? And the whole Mo culture, right? The whole LGBT culture. That whole culture got pushed out into the world through what? America. That's why you got laws in other countries like Ghana, right? Where they're sitting there making that shit punishable by death, punishable by jail time. Because what? You're not supposed to live like that. But Babylon, America, has been that golden cup filled with those abominations, that fornication, and he pushed it on all the other nations. Right? And they took suit of that because what? They wanted to rule an hour with the beast, and I'm going to get that. Right? This is verse 7 again, Jeremiah 51 and 7. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are maddened, because they saw that the deal isn't what they said it would be. Every one of these nations throughout the world are bucking up against the American hegemony. Right? You have people in China, for instance, right? People in China, they sat there and they bought up all these U.S. bonds in order to be able to hedge their accounts to make money. But then the U.S. Treasury sat there and increased interest rates so many times that the bonds that they bought aren't worth shit. So you got whole nations losing massive amount of monies because the American dollar is the reserve currency of the world, and then those bonds are backed by the interest rate. So when they raise the interest rate, there's new debt that comes with a greater outpay. So all that old debt they can't even sell off, right? So this is why the nations are mad. The nations are mad at America because how they're dealing with the Palestinians, right? How they're not labeling these things massacres that they're doing, and it's a massacre what they're doing over there, bro. And the Palestinians, fuck them too, but hey, a spade is a spade. Them niggas, the way Esau is doing is fucking wrong, man. It's wrong. Right? But let's keep going. It says, the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Right? They're bucking up against the system, and this is where we're at now. Right? You got they're saying they're asking Qatar not to allow to make sure that Al Jazeera, the news agency, doesn't report on the issue between Israel and Palestine because they're covering the massive amount of death that they're fucking doing, and the accounts have video evidence, right after, during bombings and everything like that. They got video evidence of the white phosphorus bombs, which are supposed to be illegal. Right? And then they're sitting there looking at their economic future, and none of this shit is panning out. So the Lord has a way in which he's going to deal with America, and it's going to be all out destruction and fire. Right? The sexual immorality, the Lord's going to address that. The wicked way in which they do business, right? The confusion of genders, all those things are things that are going to culminate into the destruction of America. The Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Why did he destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? Well, look at the place in America that's doing everything that Sodom and Gomorrah did. So this place will be wiped off the map. You can't get around it. Right? It says, verse 8, it says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so, she may be healed. Right? And that balm was basically get that financial aid they tried to give everybody, right? They gave everybody, what, $2,000, $3,000 over those two and a half years, free money to try to stimulate the economy. And look, it's still fucked up. They're talking about a major recession's about to hit. Hey, evictions are at an all-time high, right? They're saying eviction rates are at the same level, right, as it was in 2008, before the 2008 recession, right? There's not going to be any bouncing back in it. There's no making America great again. This place is fucking through. It's through. There's nothing you can do for it, right? Going outside and walking around freely and feeling super comfortable and being able to move around, those days are almost over. Because when you have mass unemployment, there comes mass crime. With mass crime comes mass violence. There's going to be blood in the street. The scriptures tell you men's flesh is going to be as dung upon the face of the earth. Right? It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Right? We brought out the words that you can sit here and do and change the entire society, but this place ain't healed. Right? It goes on in more wickedness because it was made to be destroyed. It says, forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. Damn cigarettes, man. And let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Right? So these sins, the Lord sees everything. The Lord said what he's going to require all the blood from righteous Abel till now. And America is where the Lord killed the saints. And the scriptures tell you the saints are those that made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice. And who are the saints that made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice? The Israelites. So Jake was killed here in a mass number. And the true Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. And then even within that, because of the scattering of the entire nation of Israel, Jake went into every country. So being into a country for long enough, you populate women, you have kids, those kids end up looking like the people of that nation. And more so down the line as it goes on. So there's Jake scattered throughout all these nations. So it's not based on color, right? It's based on lineage. Keep going. This is Revelation 14. Revelation 14:8, it says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen. It's fallen. That great city, right? And this is in the book of Revelation. These are things that are going to come in these times at the revealing of Yahweh Shai, right? It says, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And all these nations have been in bed with America. Every one of them. This is why their economies are so tightly tied in to that American hegemony, because when you go to Job 9:28, it tells you that the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, right? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. I think I might have misaddressed that one. Let me look it up. Job chapter 9. Yeah, I misaddressed that. Job 9:24, Salakia. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? The earth, the entire circumference of the earth, the power of the rulership, right? Delineating of services and goods, right? Power over energy resources. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked, and the wicked is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, right? It says, he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And who is the main judge that he's covering? Yahweh Shai. He painted the Lord up like a white man, right? Like a so-called white man. And it's the furthest from the fucking truth, right? And then when he propped up that image, he told you love was love, and justified your wickedness to be able to sleep with those of the same gender, right? Sleep with those of the same sex, and told you love was love. Through that image, you got pedophile priests out here, right? Who the world calls Jesus, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, who's not a so-called white man, right? This is back in Revelation 14:8. It says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, right? So this place is going to fall because what? He pushed out this wickedness all throughout the earth. It says he that teacheth a man to break the law, right, shall be destroyed, man. This place, America, pushed out this wickedness to the earth, and it's going to get wiped out. And it's a beautiful thing to see when it happens, man. And it's all starting through this devil being taken out of his rulership through the perceived acceptance that the people had of him, man. Nobody's accepting so-called white man as being an acceptable person anymore. So Revelation 17:12, it says, here is the patience in the faith. Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that have kept the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahweh Shai. It says, and heard the voice from heaven, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, right? Blessed are they, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yeah, said the Spirit. Is this the one I wanted? Yeah, Revelation 17 and 14. Revelation 17:12. Right? So this is where we're at in prophecy. Revelation 17:12, it says, and the 10 horns. No, I'll start at 11. Start at 9. It says, and here is the mind which had wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Right? So this is the deep understanding of the scriptures. Right? This is the prophecies that a lot of people go off on. Right? The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth, meaning those 7 great rulerships. That mountain is another allegorical speech, right? Allegorical term for governments, rulerships, right? It says, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, right? And the 5 that are fallen is going into the Gauls, which are the French, the Greeks, Germania Major, Germania Minor, and Rome. Those are the 5 that are fallen, right? It says, go back to it. It's on my phone, man. Come on, man. 5 are fallen, and the other is not yet come, talking about Britain, right? It says, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even is of the 8th. And that beast that was and is not, right? It's basically still talking about the Roman Empire, if I'm not mistaken. Right? It says, and is of the 7 and goeth into perdition, right? Because the Roman Empire went down at a certain point. It says the 10 horns, but it came back as what? NATO and the EU, that new revised Roman Empire. It says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is of the 8th and is of the 7 and goeth into perdition, right? Verse 12, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, right? So those 10 horns which you saw that are 10 kings, the 10 kings are actually talking about 10 major rulerships, which are the 10 original NATO allies, which is going into Belgium, Denmark, France and Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Greece, Spain, and Portugal came out of Spain. England and Ireland came out of England, right? And West Germany. So these are those 10 horns that you saw. And we're in the time of those 10 horns right now. It says, that I've received, verse 12 again, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast, right? All these nations that committed fornication received this power 1 hour with the beast, and they extended it. This is why when you go into the book of Maccabees, right, it talks about how, damn, this nigga's bugging out in the middle of the road. But when you go into the book of Maccabees, it talks about how the Romans would make a league with you, right? And basically you would have friendship between you and the Romans, so that if anything popped off against the Romans, it was your job to come to their aid. And what do you have right now? You got the Trilateral Commission, right? I think they call it Title VII or something like that. If one of the NATO allies get attacked, then all the NATO allies have to come together and defend them. Well, this is prophecy coming to pass, right? We're in the time of the 10 toes. We're in the time of the 10 horns. The 10 horns in the book of Revelation, right? The beast having 7 heads and 10 horns. We're in that time, right? And we're coming to the end of that time when they're going to be taken out of power. All right, so it says these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. And how did they do that? They made NATO in the EU, right? And then that was that beast system, and the whore that wrote that beast is talking about America, right? These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, right? For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called, chosen, and faithful. Right? So even when this thing starts popping off and these devils start rolling, right? And that beast system starts speaking, they try to start pushing out that mark of the beast, the RFID microchip, that implantable technology. They come out with the whole new payment system, because now they're even letting, it used to be it was all these smaller banks, right? All these super exclusive banks that were getting hit with these deposit issues. Now they're having these deposit issues hit these large banks. You're talking about Citibank, Bank of America, right? Where people not even seeing their deposits. And you don't even know that legally they can take your deposits to pay their debts. They got that out for the Breton-Stiegel Act, right? And they repealed that Breton-Stiegel Act. I think it was in the year 2008 or something like that. I think that's when they repealed it, basically saying that the banks could use your money as gambling chips on the stock market. So this is where we're at, and they're going to come up with that new system, right? You got CBDC, central bank digital currencies. They're going to come out with that new system. So even when this devil starts rolling, the Lord said what? He's going to make war. He's going to make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome him, meaning the Lord himself, Yahweh Shai, is going to overcome these devils. They're not going to get the W. It's not written for them to win, right? But going into verse 12 again, talking about the kings that rule 1 hour, right? And gave their power to the beast. Now those same kings that ruled for that time with the beast are bucking up because they see that they've been hoodwinked. They've been stolen from, and now they want a piece of the pie. This is Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2, in verse 40. It says, I started 39. It says, after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Right? So the kingdoms that it's talking about in Daniel, the 2nd chapter, is talking about the head of gold, which was Babylon. Right? Then you have the torso that was silver, which is going into the Medo-Persian Empire. You have the Medes first, and then the Persian Empire basically assimilated the Medo Empire and had a greater rule. This is where you get Xerxes and all that from. Then the brass, going into Daniel's the 2nd chapter, talking about the statue, right? The brass is talking about the Greeks. That was the Bronze Age. That's why they call it the Bronze Age. But the Greeks, and you had Alexander the Great come out of that rough goat, right? That he-goat that moved swift, right? And then you had the Roman Empire, which is iron. So let's go back to that Daniel. Daniel chapter 2, verse 39, it says, and after thee shall rise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Right? It says, and the fourth great kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, as iron that breaketh, all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. And that's what the Roman Empire did. They put the entire world in that cruel, vicious, conquered state. They basically beat all the nations down so they couldn't do anything anymore. Right? When you talk about the Roman Empire, right, what did they talk about? That army. What did they talk about the American Empire? That army that they had. Nobody had an army like the Roman Empire, man. They had the technology. There was the Iron Age. They had the hardest rulership, man. The harshest one. Right? It says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, part of iron. How many toes is there? There's 10 toes, the same as the 10 horns in the book of Revelation. So it said, and whereas thou sawest the feet, Salakia. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, and there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. Right? It says, and whereas thou sawest the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so shall the kingdom be partially strong and partially broken. Right? And that's what it is. You have certain NATO allies, right, that are extremely powerful. You're talking about the militaries of Great Britain, right? Germany is kind of in that powerful state. Then you got weaker NATO nations like Spain, that are weak economically, militarily, right? So there's part of them that are strong and part of them that are weak. It says, and whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with the clay. And that's what you're seeing. We're in the time that they're no longer cleaving to one another, right? The Lord is breaking that relationship up because all these international nations, they have a problem with what's going on with Palestine because it's fucking up the money for their own countries. You're talking about them sitting there having a war zone on one of the biggest deposits of oil in the world. Then within that, you have it fucking up trade deals between certain countries because America is supporting this, and these NATO allies have to support it too. And they're doing this against Russia, and Russia's the biggest exporter of energy to the EU. Right? But we're in the time where the Lord is breaking up that union between that Edomite power structure. And this is why you go to Matthew, the 12th chapter, in the 25th verse, it says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, right? And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And that's the time we're in. That kingdom, that rulership is being divided against itself, right? These nations can't agree on shit, right? The monetary policies aren't working. All these NATO nations want to sit here and do business with Russia because that's the cheapest, biggest supply of energy that they can get, and they can get it quick because they don't have to ship it across sea, and it's easily put through lands through what? Pipelines. And you had America blow up the fucking Nord Stream pipeline that went right into Europe, so that caused more issues, right? But that's causing that beast system to break up and fight against each other, and this place isn't going to stand. All right, let me get this other one for the same scripture. This is Mark chapter 3, in verse 26. It says, I'll start at 24. It says, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. And if a house is be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself, right? And that word Satan simply means adversary. So if the adversary, which is the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, rise up against himself, because remember, he had to go to Psalms the 83rd chapter. They had to make a league to be able to bring Jake down to the status that we're at now. Right? And if Satan rises up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but has an end. And that's where we're at. We're at the Edomites' fucking end. Right? All this shit is going out the door. They're no longer able to sit here and just make money and bully the entire world, because now all these nations are making their own weapons. Let the weak say I'm strong, right? So we're at the end of America, right? End of America as you know it. Like they say, end of the world as you know it. No, it's the end of the Edomites' age as we know it. That's why you see the degradation of their society, man. Look how worse it's getting. You got Edomite women don't even want to deal with Edomite men. That spells the end of you devils, man. That spells the end of you fucking devils, man. And Jake is on the rise, and it started off with the prophets. It started off with the teachers. And the ones that are really going to get the full rise are going to be the Israelites, man. The ones that believe, the ones that actually do what the Lord said. Right? This is 2nd Ezra 9. Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 5. And it says, for like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, right? All that's in the world has a beginning and end, right? We just read that Satan's going to have an end. So all that's made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. It lets you know that, hey, this shit's almost up. Well, Esau, his fall has a beginning. And the Edomite rulership, the so-called white man's rulership, started when the prophets got the knowledge of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai again. Right? It says, 2nd Ezra 9:5, for like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, and wonders and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. Right? So you're seeing the beginning, the powerful wonders and works of the Lord, showing you that we're coming to the end of his rulership. Right? The Lord made every nation have their time to rule. And it's not according to the nation of how people think nations are now. There were 18 nations going back into the book of Genesis that the Lord created. Right? You had the nation of Israel, which are the 12 tribes. You got Edom, you got Ishmael, right? All these nations had a time to rule. And right now we're in the rulership of the Edomite Empire, because the scriptures tell you that at the end, Esau would have the rule of the world. So who are the Edomites in today's society? Well, they go back to what? The Romans. There's a book called Who is Esau Edom? Rome. Right? The Edomites come from the Roman Empire, and they're so-called white people. And they have a judgment according to the scriptures. But a lot of times people don't like to talk about these judgments in the scriptures because they go against the normal rationale that the Christian theology promotes, that God loves everybody. But the Lord doesn't love everybody. The scriptures tell you in the New Testament, this is in the New Testament, Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated. That's what it says in the New Testament. Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated. So the Lord doesn't love everybody. All right? So going back into it, this is verse 7, it says, and everyone that shall be saved, right, it shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. So you're going to have works and faith. But a lot of people don't know what those works and faith are, man. It says, shall be preserved from the said perils, and that's what's going to come on the earth. Perils. The Lord said what? It was written within and without. Going back into the book of Ezekiel, it was written within and without, lamentation, mourning, and woe. This is what's written in the Bible. It's not all good feeling shit. There's a lot of judgments that are actually written in the scriptures. Right? Shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So the Lord always had an elect. That's why it talks about predestination in the new scriptures. You did he foreknow and predestine unto the salvation of his son. Right? This is Psalm 75. Psalm 75 and verse 4. It says, I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly. And to the wicked, right? Who are the wicked? Go to Malachi 1 and 4. Right? The scriptures tell you Esau is the border of wickedness, meaning all wickedness comes from that people. All type of wickedness, man. When you go to their history, it's not an honorable history. There's not one part of Edomite history that's honorable history. The people that they promote as being honorable people were freaks. Alexander the Great was a flaming moe. Right? And that's the pinnacle of their great titles. Then you got Tiberius Julius Caesar. He's a damn pedo. You go back in the history and accounts of it, this dude had basically the Epstein Island of his time. Right? So the Edomite history is not one of honor and glory. It's not. It's one of rape, rob, and pillaging. John 10 and 10 tells you the thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and destroy. And that's what Esau's done his entire life. Going back to this blessing. All right, when you go to Genesis 25th chapter, all right, it tells you what Esau's blessing was going to be. It said, by thy sword shalt thou live. So everything he gets is through what? The sword. Oppressing people with death. This is how the Edomite ruler structure, the so-called white man's ruler structure, has worked for years, for his entire rulership. It's through promoting death and killing everybody and getting all the resources. Every time you sit there talking about apartheid and anything like that, you got to deal with Esau. Right? So going back into it, Psalm 75:4, it says, I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly, and to the wicked lift not up the horn, meaning lift not up your own strength. It says, lift not up your horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck. And Esau speaks with a stiff neck. There was a whole general that made a statement about that whole war in Ukraine a year and a half ago. He said if Russia wants to sit here and push forward to any of the allies of NATO, any American allies' territories, that America isn't afraid of war, and other people will raise your sons and your daughters. That's a proud fucking statement, to think that you're gonna talk to an entire country like they ain't got something to shoot. All right, you're talking about some of the most advanced intercontinental ballistic missiles that go at Mach 9. Russia has missiles that fly at the speed of Mach 9. Those missiles can come from Russia to America in a matter of 8 minutes. Right? And then they're talking shit to them. Man, hey, Russia's part of prophecy. Go on in the scriptures, it tells you that Russia, in the book of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, it says Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog is talking about the landmass of Russia. Right? It says, lift not up your horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. Right? Nobody can just put up somebody else to rule. Right? It says, but the Most High is the judge. He put it down one and set up another. So everybody gets a rulership position in this earth. The Lord set them up. Right? The Lord set up the white man to rule right now. But he also set him up for his destruction, just like he did Pharaoh. He said what? The Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. So that's exactly what happened now. The Lord rose him up so that he could harden his heart and destroy him in his time. Right? It says, for in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red, it is full of mixture. He poured out the same. Right? That cup that's talking about is that judgment. And Jake drunk in that cup. So-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans drunk in the cup of the Lord, man. They drunk in a fury, man. That's why they were always on the bottom, always getting beat the fuck up by every nation. Even so right now, you got Edomites that know Jake is extremely fucking forgiving. And they'll capitalize on that. I saw a video recently where this Jake was talking about this older Edomite dude, this older white dude sitting there talking about how he used to be a firefighter and he used to willingly let black kids in buildings burn to death and their families burn to death and say he couldn't do anything. And he said at his old age, now it's hunting them. Well, these are accounts that always happen, man. They used to send lynching pictures as postcards. And you can still go to museums right now in Ohio and look at those pictures that are set up as postcards. They had a term called gator bait where they used to use little black babies and Latino babies to sit here and catch alligators. This is the reality of what the so-called white man's done on earth. He's wicked. He's evil. He's cruel. It says, for in the hand of the Lord, in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh, there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture and poured out of the same. But the dregs thereof, right? If you get a beer, the dregs is like that warm, no longer good tasting part, right? The dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall bring them out and drink them. And we're coming to the time where you devils, you Edomites, are about to bring out the dregs of that cup, right? And you're going to drink them, man. You're going to have to wipe off like in a bar, they got that whole island bar, and then they wipe it down with that towel. Well, the Lord's going to wring out that towel and put that in the cup, and you're going to drink all that shit. So it says, Psalm 75:9, it says, but I will declare forever, I will sing praise to the power of Jacob. All right, who's the power of Jacob? Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. That's the true names in the Hebrew. Right? All the horns of the wicked also I will cut off, So all that power structure, all that rule, right? The scriptures tell you that the nations, right, when this place is destroyed, that the heathen would be responsible to have to go around and break all that shit down, man. Because no nation's going to learn war anymore. It says, but the horn of the righteous shall be exalted. And that's the day we're waiting on, man. When the Lord exalts the elect, right? Because this world, man, to have it under this type of rulership anymore, everybody's going to have cancer at some point. They're talking all the time about forever chemicals being in the water system, everything like that. You got them removing shellfish from the waters, which causes cholera and all these diseases to pop up. So for the earth to actually go on in this state, man, everybody to have cancer at some point, entire ecosystems would be destroyed, animals would end up going extinct. So the Lord needs to put in the righteous in position again. And the righteous are the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And there's an elected number of them that actually do what the Lord said. Right? This is Job 14. Job 14 and 5. It says, seeing his days are determined. Right? His days are determined. The Lord put up a certain amount of time for this devil to be in rulership. The scriptures also say he shall not live out half his days, man. So even in that, the Lord's going to cut off his kingdom short. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So the Lord set up a bound for this devil that he can't go by. Right? There's a certain number of time, there's a certain amount of days where this rulership was set up to rule, and where it's coming to the days where the Lord is breaking it down, man. It says, turn from him that he may rest till he shall accomplish as a hireling his days. And that's exactly what it is. The Lord just gave the so-called white man a job in the earth, and he's been doing it. Rule the nations in iron, beat them down, rob all their shit, kill multiple people, make world wars. The Lord gave this devil a job, and he's done it well. He's done it well, but at the same time, for the same job that the Lord gave him, right, he's going to be punished. Just like at the same time, the same job that the Lord gave Pharaoh in the time of Egypt, right, to oppress the children of Israel. But at the end of the day, the Lord set it up that he would be taken out of power for that same job the Lord gave him. Because the Lord said what? He will have mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will, he harden it. Right? So this is Amos 8 and 11, and within all this stuff going down and this American system crashing, because America's not going to be on top that much longer, man. Right? With all this stuff happening, the Lord's going to set it up that the famine of the word is going to kick in. And when the famine of the word kicks in, that's it. You ain't got no fucking hope in the world. If you didn't get in the world, if you didn't get the truth while the Lord had the prophets out there preaching, just like in the time of Noah, right? He was out there prophesying and building the ark. And the ones that didn't get the preaching, the ones that didn't take heed, what? The Lord said he shut the ark. The Lord shut the ark, not Noah. The Lord shut the ark. And there was gnashing of teeth afterwards. So if you don't get the truth while you can, before that famine of the word comes, you're through. There's no getting it late. This is Amos chapter 8. Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Behold, the days come, said the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst of water. Right? The famine of bread and water is actually going to come too. That's prophesied. It says, but of hearing the words of the Lord. Right? And that's what the Lord's going to set up. Something that people see in such an abundance, because really, man, the Lord set it up that there was going to be a lot of his word, a lot of the prophesying going out in these last days. And every city you go to, you end up seeing an Israelite at some point. You go on the internet, at some point you hear something about the Israelites. So for the people, because the word is out here in such abundance, people don't take it too serious. But at a certain point, the Lord's going to cut off the message, and that's when people are going to take it serious. When you go back, let me see if I can find it, man. Word. This is the book of Samuel, 1 Samuel 3:1. It says, and the child Samuel ministered unto Yahweh before Eli. And the word of Yahweh was precious in those days. Why was the word of the Lord precious in those days? It says there was no open vision. So when there was no open vision, then people saw the real benefit of the word of the Lord. Because they were like, man, hey, the Lord ain't talked to us in a minute. When the Lord stopped talking, you got to be afraid. Like they got a term, they got a phrase, right? Them Jamaicans got a, Benjamin got a phrase on an island. He said, when man's can't hear, he must feel. Well, the Lord set it up where you got a chance to hear the word, right? You got it, whether they hear or whether they forbear. Well, we put out the word. You still got niggas bucking up against wisdom, right? Chief Ephraim sitting there, Chief Ephraim, stupid ass going there and telling Jake to bring some sodas and shit, some soda cans and stuff to throw at the fucking Palestinians. That's a stupid ass fucking thing to say. That's a stupid thing to say. Not only are you gonna get them fucked up and hurt, possibly thrown in jail, but then you don't even know the state of which these niggas are that you get around you. Because you all about just numbers and call it unity. When the scriptures tell you the unity is supposed to be of the spirit, right? Not a word. But then you're gonna have niggas out there bringing out guns and shit. And shit might get escalated. Somebody might get hurt, killed. Hopefully it don't happen, but if it does happen, that's on you. That's on you, right? But Jake would rather listen to that than listen to prophets that just simply go into the word of the Lord. It says, the word of the Lord was precious in those days because there was no vision. So when the vision stops, right, when man can't hear him, him must feel, right? And that's what we're going to come to. We're coming to the time where the Lord is going to cut off the message, and the people are just going to have to feel it. This is back in Amos 8:11. It says, behold, the days come, said the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but a hearing the words of Yahweh. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh and shall not find. Right? So when the message gets taken off the highways and byways, when you ain't got no choice, right? When the Lord say, all right, enough talking to these niggas. Because we're coming to that time, man, where the Lord's going to say, all right, enough talking to these niggas. People are going to start looking, right? They're going to see, the people are going to end up popping up at the campsites that brothers were in, at all of them, because they remember where we taught, right? Even the spots that brothers have preached in years and years ago that they hadn't gone back to in a long time, they're going to remember those places, and they're going to fucking retrace the steps of the prophets. They're going to travel from sea to sea. They're going to ask me, hey, man, have you heard them? Have you heard them? Where have you seen these guys? Hey, they're going to be making fucking whole chats online to try to find the word of the Lord. But you got to find 9 times. The scriptures tell you, seek the Lord while he may be found. Let me get that. Isaiah 55 and 16. Isaiah 55 and 6, it says, seek the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Right? So you got a chance to seek the Lord. You got to do it while he can be found. The Lord isn't going to be an option, man. You're not going to treat the Lord like an option. He's going to give you a time frame where he showed you that, oh, he's here, he's doing this thing. And then at a certain point, he's going to just remove his spirit from off the highways and byways. He's going to make it hard to get the word. So seek the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Right? Let the wicked forsake his way, and the righteous man his thoughts. Right? You gotta forsake your wicked ways. And the unrighteous man his thoughts, let them return to Yahweh, the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. But you gotta change from your ways. You gotta stop doing the same bullshit you was doing. If you were an adulterer, stop committing adultery. Right? If you eat unclean food, stop eating unclean food, man. Shrimp, crab, lobster, pork, that shit. Pork, bacon, right? Regular pepperoni, right? You can get turkey pepperoni and shit. Those things are not acceptable things in the eyes of the Lord. right? If you're disrespecting your parents, the scriptures tell you to honor thy father and your mother. Show them some love, man. Respect the fact that they're your parents. Right? You got to forsake that wicked way and come back to the Lord. You got to seek the Lord while he can be found, man. And how do you seek the Lord? By doing what he said, doing what he commanded. Because then the Lord will take notice of you. So, going on. This is Revelation 13. Revelation 13 and 11, it says, "And I beheld another beast come out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb," right? Going into that two-party structure, the Democrats and the Republicans. "And he spake as a dragon," right? And you go to that word for dragon in the Greek, in Revelation 13 and 11, it goes into the Greek god, which is drakon, which goes into draconian. It's a lawgiver that gave out strict punishment against minor offenses, man. And that's what's going to happen. There's going to be, they're going to promote a system, right? More than likely, it's going to come under the auspice of martial law that for minor offenses, you can be put to death, putting harsh jail time, right? And for us, the main thing that you got to look out for is they're going to sit here and make it against the law to even preach the word or bring out a Bible scripture, right? They tried to make laws that made it illegal for you to read the Bible in California. See how that's playing out. At a certain point, they're going to push that. At a certain point, they're going to push it, right? This is Revelation 12 and 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth," right? "And of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath." And who is devil? What does that word devil mean? It means deceiver. The so-called white man is a fucking deceiver, right? There's whole museums in America that shows the treaties that he broke. Shit, the treaty that he broke with the Palestinians is the talk of the town right now. Setting up that whole Balfour Declaration, right? "But therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had a short time." And when they start when they start removing our videos, and they're already starting it, brothers are losing entire channels, right? Brothers are losing entire channels for videos made 5-6 years ago, right? But this devil's going to start rolling with that wrath, because what? The fingers being pointed at him, and all hands are coming against him. Like the scriptures say, every hand of the wicked shall come against him. You go into that word wicked, and I think that's in the book of Job, right? That word wicked in the book of Job is actually going to the laborer. The average everyday person is going to be so much against this system, and we're bringing out the word of the Lord, so they're going to find a way to make this the offender, right? But we're coming down to the time where he's going to have great wrath. He says, "When the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child." Right? When he sees that his rulership is just falling, he's going to judge the nation of Israel, man. He's going to come against us. This is why you have more and more talk about the Israelites. This whole shit with Palestine, you got them dudes at Wi-Fi, set up dudes like Chief Ephraim. That all plays into prophecy, because at some point, they're going to make it illegal for you to even sit here and profess your faith in the Lord. Because this is not a godly society. All right? This is Maccabees, and they've done this before. So that which was is that which shall be, and that which is that which shall be done. All right? There's no new thing under the sun. When you go into the book of Maccabees, right? It's First Maccabees 1. In 44. It says, "And the king had sent letters by the messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judea, that they should follow the strange laws of the land." It says, "And he forbade burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings, in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people. So it was a law going back into the Roman Empire that they made it illegal for you to do after the Lord's commandments. Right? Set up altars and groves, and chapels and of idols, and sacrifices swine's flesh and unclean beasts, and that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable in all manner of uncleanness and profanation. And this is what they want now. Look at how they're promoting shit to kids. Right? They're telling kids you can be whatever you want. They're talking about schools. They're even putting kitty litter boxes in bathrooms at elementary schools for little fucking kids that think they're cats. You get a kid that thinks she's a cat, put her ass outside like a cat and see how she fares, man. But this is the insanity that America brings. This is what they promote, to take you away from what's right. It says, verse 49, to the end that they might forget the law and ordinance. Verse 48, it says that they should leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. Right? So we're coming to a time now where they're going to make a type of persecution just like that. Remember, the scriptures tell you that there's going to be a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Right? A violent uprising is going to be against those that fear the Lord. Today I saw a video from Apostle Tahar sitting there saying, somebody of, I think it's ICPK or HOY, sat there and said that some Palestinian woman drove her fucking car into a building of theirs. Right? So that great insurrection is starting to happen, man. It's going to start happening. It's just, the scriptures tell you there's a great, the wrath of a great multitude is going to be kindled over us, man. Right? We're going to be on a spotlight, but even within that spotlight, the Lord's going to set it up so that we have a way to escape. Right? So going on, it's Isaiah 29. Isaiah 29 and 21. 26. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. And that's what's going to happen. Everybody that does all this iniquity, man, they're going to be cut off, man. The Lord's going to take them out. It says, that make a man an offender for a word. Who makes a man more of an offender for a word than Esau? That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. And that's what's going to happen. They're going to sit here and try to make us an offender for what? Preaching the word of the Lord. They're going to try to make us offenders for simply teaching what the Lord said. It says, reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Therefore, thus said the Lord, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. Basically, the Lord is not going to allow us to be overtaken. Right? Keep going. This is Psalms 29. Psalms chapter 29 and 21. Or Proverbs 29 and 18. It's Proverbs chapter 29 and 18. It says, where there is no vision, the people perish. And he that keepeth the law, happy is he. So when the Lord cuts off the message, right? And that's what's going to happen, because the feminine word is going to kick in. When the Lord cuts off this message, and you don't see the prophets out here on the highways and byways, in your streets of your cities, YouTube videos going up anymore, right? That's how you know, hey, when there's no vision, people are going to start perishing. Mass amounts of judgment is going to start issuing out from there. Like I said, man, There comes a time for talking, and when the time for talking is done, hey, then it's a time to throw hands, and that's what the Lord's going to do. He's going to throw hands with everybody in this world that didn't take his message serious, that didn't take the prophet serious. And the New Testament tells you, in the soul that would not hear that prophet shall be destroyed from among the people. Where that destruction is being set up, right? You're going to know when it's fully in effect, when the famine of the word really starts to get in. This is 2 Ezra 5. 2 Ezra 5 in chapter 8. It says, I'll start it at 2. It says, but iniquity shall be increased above that which you now seest, or that thou hast long heard. Right? So shit's gonna get worse. As bad as it is right now, man. As bad as these niggas act right now, man. It's gonna get increasingly and overcomingly terrible out here. Right? And it says, in the land that thou sawest now to have root, shall thou see wasted suddenly. But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, in the moon thrice in a day. I'm gonna jump down some. It says, verse 8. It says, there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, right? And mischievous women shall bring forth monsters, and these women are bringing out forth little fucking demons, bro. It says, and salt water shall be found in sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Even shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into a secret chamber. So the Lord is going to cut off the message. The Lord is going to cut off the hearing of the word of his words in the earth, and then all hell's going to break loose. It says, and shall be sought of many, yet not be found, right? And when this happens, when that wit hides itself, a lot of people are going to look for it. Right? All the faces that pass brothers when they preach, hey, these people know those spots, right? Because some of these people, they come out like where I'm at, man. Some of these people, I see them every week. Some of these people, I notice their faces, and they know, they remember us. And when shit gets heavy, and they don't see brothers coming out on the weekends and the Saturdays and throughout the weeks and the days where they normally would see them, right? It says, it shall be sought of many, verse 10, and yet be not found. They're going to look for the word, and they're not going to find it. It says, then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon the earth. So this is the time when that feminine word kicks in, then you're going to see all type of wickedness pop off. All type of depravity pop off. It says, one land also shall ask another and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, no. It says, at the same time shall men hope, but nothing to pertain, because people are going to really try to go into the scriptures themselves. They're going to think that this is something that they can just get on the fly. They're going to look at brothers. They're going to look at brothers like, hey man, if they can do it, they just niggas. I can get it. I just never read it. They're going to pick up the scriptures, and it's gonna sound like Charlie Brown's teacher, man. That won't, because you got to be given the understanding, and that understanding comes from the Heavenly Father, man. It says, at the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. Right? They're going to work as hard as they can to try to break down the scriptures, and ways ain't going to prosper. You see that happening now with these Christian pastors, man. Now they're getting into brothers' videos and everything like that, trying to break it down. But the understanding started with what? The prophets. You're going to have to go to the men that taught this thing to get the full understanding. It says, how shall they know him, and how shall they hear without a preacher? You got to go to the preachers. And if you didn't do it in time, you're through. Right? It's Isaiah 65. Isaiah 65:12, it says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, right? Why is the Lord going to number people to the sword and to a slaughter? Why is the Lord saying that, hey, you're going to be put to death, right? It says, because when I called, you did not answer. When I spake, you did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. And that's why a lot of people are going to be put to death in these days, because the message was brought out. The scriptures tell you, talk about how they pulled away the shoulder, right? This is a time where the Lord's trying to embrace his people, right? Wherever they be, no matter how they look. This is a time where the Lord is trying to embrace his people. Through what? The prophets. Because brothers, man, you come around and you want to listen, you want to get the word, bro. We're extremely inviting, bro. We'd love to go into the scriptures. The scriptures tell you that a wise man looking for an attentive ear, right? This is Proverbs 1:24. Proverbs 1:24, because I have called and ye refused. And a lot of people refuse the actual word of the Lord. They do whatever they want. You know, in the scriptures it tells you a man's not supposed to shave his beard. The Lord didn't shave his beard. That's in the law. But you have people that sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm going to get a nice close shave. That's against the scriptures. And when brothers tell you that and people scoff at their faces and turn their noses up. It says, because I have called, ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. And how did the Lord stretch out his hand? He sent men in his stead. He sent messengers in his stead to give out the message, to give out the right breakdown. It says, but have said it not all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. Now you got Jake making videos, scoffing at brothers, making little skits. Well, this was just a little bit before COVID popped up. You had that dude Mike Epps and that dude Tony Harris make that stupid ass skit. And Lord willing, I'm gonna make a collage of some videos. Get some time today. They sat there and made that skit. What happened? Tony Harris got put to death, and Mike Epps sat there and made his little apology posts and shit. I wish I could go to my own channel and get it, but it was one of the first channels I had, and Esau took that shit away, right? But it says, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you, and that's what's going to happen to you niggas that didn't take the message, that treated this like it was a fucking game, that distress and anguish is going to come upon you, that destruction like a whirlwind, that fast boom, right? Because the type of judgment that's going to go out is going to be excessively hard and fast, man. You're talking about Beast Mode Jones in the pocket breaking out, right? That's how the judgment's got to go out, and even worse. It says, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of the Lord. Right? A lot of people hate knowledge. They don't choose the fear of the Lord. The things that are acceptable before the Lord, people don't do. Right? People rather do drugs, party, bullshit all the time, man. But the people got to choose the fear of the Lord, because if you don't, hey, well, the Lord's going to show you why you should fear him. Right? It says, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord, they would none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof. And the Lord set up men in the earth in the last days to tell you what was right. And they're not going to come up looking the fucking sharpest dress in a three-piece suit like in a fucking church. They're going to come up looking like normal men just like you. Fucking hustling just to get by. Going to work every fucking day. The prophets, man, they were rough men. You're talking about prophets that had to be in the face with a bunch of people that wanted to kill them constantly. Right? But the Lord set up men in these last days to tell you, this is right. This is what the Lord likes. This is what the Lord doesn't like. You want to stop doing that bullshit. Because when you don't, well, then the Lord's going to address you. And the Lord, he ain't like men that cringe when they see somebody get shot. Right? He doesn't get squeamish when he sees somebody's leg get snapped in half and come out of their skin. The scriptures tell you that the Lord is king of terrors. So if the Lord is the king of terrors, maybe you should take a heed to his word. Because whether or not you believe it or not, you're going to be judged by his word. It says, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord, they would none of my counsel and despise all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. For the turning of the way of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. Right? So these are little, like, look at them niggas in Chicago. Little young niggas out there, man. Scheme ass boys, man. Stick them up kids and shit. Right? Your NBAs, whatever's, man. Those are the type of niggas that people are going to have to deal with in these times. The turning away of the simple shall slay them. The Lord said he created spirits for vengeance. So the Lord put a spirit in a certain person, let him grow up from his little toddler years. He thought he was all sweet and nice. Just for him to get to this age, 18, 19, 20. And then you see him, and you fucked up, and you think you got away with it. And the Lord said, no, turn that little demon nigga on, and he come at you. That's how the Lord got it. He's done that many times in the scriptures. Lord raised up Pharaoh that way. Pharaoh started as a kid, right? When you go back into the story of Egypt, right? Pharaoh was a little kid. Little kids seem innocent, man. They chill. But then he turned into an adult, and he had that hardness in his heart, and he started putting hell on the Israelites. Right? So the Lord can raise up a man simply just to fuck somebody up. That's why Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, was raised up. So he used them as a whooping stick for the nation of Israel. He said, the Lord said, deliver me from the wicked, which is thy sword. The wicked of earth, the Lord uses them to put out his judgment. The Lord said what? I do good and I do evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. That's in the book of Psalms. Actually, let me get that, man. The Lord do all these things. This is Isaiah 45:7. It says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, and the Lord's name is Yahweh in the Hebrew. And the name of his son is Yahweh Shai in the Hebrew. I, the Lord, do all these things. So the Lord creates light, he creates darkness, he creates evil. He's the one who has the power to do all this type of stuff. Right? He's the one that has it. So you can't get away from the judgment when he wants to do it. There's nothing you can do. Right? This is Judges 10. Judges chapter 10. Oh yeah. Judges chapter 10 and verse 11. It says, and the Lord said unto the children of Israel, did not I deliver you from the Egyptians, and from the Amorites, and from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines? Right? Because all these nations we have to go to war against. We also went into captivity into all these nations. Right? It says the Zidonians also, and the Amalekites which are the ones in the land of Israel right now, those are the children of Amalek, which is a bloodline of Esau, Edom, the wicked, that the scriptures say is the wicked. Right? It says, and the Moabites did oppress you, and ye cried to me, and I delivered you out of their hand. Yet ye have forsaken me. Right? So the Lord did all these great things for us, man. Even now, man. Right? We were in hardcore slavery in this country. Right? Then you went from slavery to Jim Crow laws. Then you went from Jim Crow laws to fucking chain gangs. Right? And then they had sharecropping when you wanted to fucking sit here and just get something on your own. And that sharecropping was basically like a contract slavery. And even out of all of that, the Lord made it so that certain laws got set up so they couldn't do that shit so easily. Right? So the Lord did all that, set up a type of deliverance out of all that for you. Right? It says verse 13, yet ye have forsaken me and served other gods, wherefore I will deliver you no more. And that's the problem. Because throughout all of our lives, the Lord set up deliverance of many situations. But Jake, instead, they'll sit here and go into Buddhism, they'll go to Egyptology, and none of this shit profits you. None of it gives you a standard and a way of living. None of it tells you how you're supposed to operate and provides a better way for you to operate. But Jake goes into that, and then when you bring up the scriptures to him, they say, oh, a white man wrote that book. No, Israelites wrote this book. Prophets of the Lord wrote this book. The scriptures say that the Lord gave the word, but great was the company of them that published it. And what was the company of those that published it? Prophets, Israelites, not so-called white men. The Israelites are always so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Now they call them Hispanics. Before they used to be dark people, but due to Spanionization, right? Due to conquering of the Spaniards of the so-called Mexicans, then they started getting a little lighter. But you go in South America, you'll see fucking pockets of dark-ass Mexicans, dark-ass Venezuelans, right? And they all got the sauce that a so-called Negro got, man. Right? But this is where we're at, man. This is where we're at now. The Lord is going to sit here and put out a judgment. And if you didn't take heed to the warning, if you didn't try to amend your ways and try to serve the Lord best you can, right? Figure out what the Lord said was right. And the only way to figure those things out is you got to read the scriptures, right? Start off with the laws. It's a good thing to follow the laws of the Lord. That's where it starts, man. Because then for you to follow the laws, you got to have the mindset of, oh, the Lord wrote this for me to follow, right? You have trust that whatever the Lord said was something that you should do because it's the Lord's word, right? It's not that the laws are going to save you, but the scriptures tell you the law was our, let me get it, man. This is, it's in the New Testament. Right? This is Galatians 3, and I'll start at 23. It says 22. It says, but the scripture had concluded all under sin. See, everybody goes off. Right? It says that the promise may be by faith of Yahushua, right? Who the world already calls Jesus, his name is Yahushua, might be given to them that believe. It says, but before faith came, we were kept under the law, shut up unto the faith which should afterwards be received. What is that faith that would afterwards be received? Because Yahushua, he was always the spirit created. He was always here. He was always going to come and be the sacrifice for the nation of Israel to get back to the Lord. But for a long time, your only access to the Lord was to follow the laws. You didn't have the grace that the Lord would give for dying for your sins. So when you went off, right, you had to pay the penalty of the law. Meaning if you did this, certain laws, if you broke them, you were supposed to be put to death. Certain laws, if you broke them, you cut off from your nation. And in the whole world, even now, being cut off from your own people can spell a disastrous situation for yourself, right? You can go to a position where you're in homelessness, you don't have enough money to get by, you have nobody to call for help. But these are judgments in the law, right? So before Yahushua came, you were just subject unto whatever the judgment was, right? So if it says, reading on Galatians 3 and 24, it says, wherefore the law was our schoolmaster, bringing us unto Yahushua. You see, the law, by you following what the Lord said, it brings you closer to the Lord, right? It brings you closer to the Lord. It lets you know, okay, this is what the Lord is acceptable. Because when Yahushua, who the world calls Jesus, was on the earth, every time he met somebody, what did he say? Every time he healed somebody, he said, go thy way and sin no more. You don't know what sin is unless you read the scriptures. Sin isn't just whatever you think is bad. Sin is what? The transgression of the law, the breaking of the law, right? Shaving your beard off, that's actually a sin in the scriptures, right? Eating pork, shrimp, lobster, crab, right? Those are sins in the scriptures, right? Sitting there fucking somebody else's woman, that's against the scriptures, right? Jake don't even know that in the scriptures you can have more than one woman. Your woman ain't gonna accept that, but in the scriptures, you can have more than one woman, but where you go off is when you try to get somebody else's woman. You don't got to. There's enough bitches out here, man. And all of them hoes. Right? It says, wherefore the law was our schoolmaster, bringing us unto a Mashiach, Yahushua, that we might be justified by faith. Right? Because you kept these laws because you know that the Lord died for your sins. So you don't want to keep sinning because the Lord ain't going to jump on the cross anymore. You want to try to get as best as you can, man. You got to seek perfection. The Lord said, be ye perfect even as my Father in heaven is perfect. Be ye perfect as the Most High is perfect. And perfection comes through what? Having perfect faith, having perfect sincerity, having perfect attempt at righteousness, man. All right, a righteous man falls 7 times, will get back up. That means when you fall off, you don't do according to the plan, hey, you try to fix that shit and never let it happen again. That's all it is. But we're in a time now where the Lord is about to remove the word from the highways and byways, right? Because the famine of the word is going to come, and when that comes, this shit is through. So if you don't get it now, it's through. The Lord wanted us to edify him and say, call Allah, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakadash. Shalom.